chat. On this edition of the program, I will talk with commentator and analyst Robert Nari, who is going to tell us about the challenges faced by residents in Kwekwe in navigating the high tariffs that were charged by the Kwekwe City Council. Welcome, Mr. Nari. You can take us through the situation in the Kwekwe community.
We are saying residents are denied the services that they talk. Because when we are denied water, it means they are denying human existence. They've been talking about the lights. Of course, lights are not very important than water. Then to make matters worse, why should we have charges that are beyond reach? Yet in true sense, there is no water. Do they have a plight at the heart of people? I wonder. If they had, they should make a follow-up to anything that we submit to them so that they know our existence. But in this case, I don't see them having any interest. And to make matters worse, the increment of the rates or the increment of the funds of the services is so unbecoming. To justify the increment, they must do the service. Lights must be restored. Water, nearly everyone in Amaven must have water. W Squares hasn't got water. V Squares hasn't got water. In some places. And yet they continue to estimate. Now when they talk of estimation, I don't know whether they make a thorough analysis. Because thorough analysis, the estimation must be known, and they must understand that this place, the water is running. Then they can use estimation. But if there is no water, it makes no sense. It's as good as stealing other people's money. So what we want here is they must make a good research. Otherwise, most of the people are not going to be prepared to pay the increase that they are now enjoying. Yes, if the water was running, I don't see any reason why we should be complaining. We are complaining because there's no water. The service, yes, well, they get money from the service. But now look, the streets are like, the potholes are like dongas. And what are they doing? All right. What are they saying over such things? We need what they say to be fulfilled. And you no wonder why there's a lot of, what can I say, the unrest in most of these suburbs. Because there are no lights. Anybody who can commit housebreaking can commit because no one will assist the person or can point out who is committing a crime. Because there's no light. And he's also scared to lose his life. So it is unfortunate that our council, I don't want to blame the councillors. The councillors, some of them, they are new people. They don't know to make follow-ups. The follow-ups can only come with the director of works and some other high-ranking people. But in this case, there's nothing that we are gaining. Please, I would urge the council to revisit If they say an issue, it should not be a lip service. It must be indeed.
Most of the budget consultative meetings that were organized by the City Council flopped. From your view, what do you think was the result of this? Have the residents lost trust in the Kwekwe City Council?
I want to tell you this. You see, they were supposed to advertise this in the newspapers. Look, we are categorized. One, the suburbs there, they've got a different class. Amaven, Imbizo, they've got a different class. But in this case, they didn't bother themselves looking into that. They all said it's all fish in the net. Whereas it was not supposed to be like that. They were supposed to be categorized as we were categorized for many years. And to dictate to people, it's a sin. Because if they were to give more time to the people, they could have brought up something. The rest that Amaveni, Mbizo are paying is similar to those of a businessman, which is very wrong. Yes, I was one of those chiefs, but I didn't attend. I could not attend something that is, it was a formality that we should attend. Yet the whole thing was already done, which is a wrong thing. All rates must be put into, they must be advertised. Any objections to this? Then those who are prepared to object, they will object with a background. To say, look, we fall into two categories. Business people and the suburbs, Newtown and so on, they fall into different category. And Maveni and Imbizo, they fall into different category. But in this case, they took everything in a business-minded issue, which is the wrong thing. They should have revised before they went out. And those people that were, the people that they were meeting, they could not translate it. What was supposed to have been, if the 42% or 39% is said, it must give the real figure. Then people are able to object, rather than playing with figures to people who are not able to translate it, which was very unfair. But we are very lucky here in Kwekwe because there is no civic disobedience. But if there was places like Mtari, Gweru, they would have experienced civic disobedience. And up to now, I'm still thinking that we might stage up for civic disobedience. Because this is unfair. You pay water when the water is not there. The streets are full of dongas. The lights, they are not there. They are now the nest of the birds. Now, how do you tame that one? Where are you applying the services? It's not there. So people are so much disturbed. You will find some time to come, if they want to elect a councillor, they would rather prefer an independent than applying for a party, because most of them, they don't want to translate to people. So it's unfair. The council must learn to practice sort of democracy. Yes.
Let's also talk about the sort of language that is portrayed in the City Council's reports. Mr. Nari, is it understandable to everyone, including the elderly who also happen to pay the tariffs? Do you think the type of language that is portrayed in these reports is suitable to everyone in the community?
For your information, I think, look, they don't have to rush into conclusion, what they're supposed to do is to explain in detail to people that if you say 39%, what you are actually going to get is this much. So that people will understand. Than saying, it's only 29%. Now, if you talk of 29%, 29 is just a simple figure, which can mean a little thing. But yet, when you translate it, it will be a big thing. So they must learn to do good things. And they must be tolerant. Council must learn to be tolerant in their explanation. Because as far as I know, they dictate the pace. Instead of hearing from the residents need figures. If they show the residents, that is 29%, which is 29 from where you left, then you'll see how much it's going to be. 13% is a language that can be understood. But 29, 39 is abnormal. Who is able? Look, for information, there was lockdown. During the lockdown, no one could source money. And as a result of that, a lot of distribution of statements went around without putting that into consideration that people are not getting anything. That was very unfair. Yes.
Where do stakeholders get in now? How can stakeholders help the city council in case where let's say if people fail to pay tariffs, is there a need for stakeholders to jet in and say, let's help the city council in doing this and this?
They forget that the local government has a minister who is supposed to be giving them funds to rectify the errors that are taking place. But these people, whether they don't know or they know, if they know, that's the channel that they're supposed to be taking. They have to apply to the Minister of Local Government to rectify the errors. Now, if they keep quiet and expect from a person, where do we source the funds? And as far as inflation is concerned, we are down to earth. We don't have anything. They must also, if they fail to rectify it, how about the poorest man? Would he rectify that one? We are not prepared to apply for a donor anymore. We did that much. We did a lot. And for your information, there's if you go to prison today, they're having, despite it's a bitter milk, but we tried for prisoners to get something. This is what we want. But these people, if you source funds, they'll buy luxury cars. So I don't see any reason. And even if you cry out and say we want this rectified, they don't come. Like for instance, how many times did I approach these ships to rectify the pipes that are denying us to have water? But to their places, there's water. And God blessed us. There was rain. You talk of Dutchman's Food, it's at a capacity. You talk of Zimbabwe, it's at a capacity. Why are we denied water? Why? So, it's only lip service that they want money to save the city. It has not been, look, for many years that we've been talking, there was nothing like the service. As I said, the lights in the street lights are now the nest of the birds. Yes, one can say it was the youngsters who were doing that rubbish. Yeah, but if the lights were really lights, why don't we have any security to look into that? They were supposed to do that. So our concern here is we don't have the council. The council no longer having the plight of people at heart. So we didn't want to have civic disobedience, but we are going to insinuate it so that they will understand.
You were listening to the community chat brought to you by the Community Voices Zimbabwe, where we were discussing on the challenges that are being faced by Kwekwe residents in navigating through the high tariffs that are being charged by the Kwekwe City Council. We also discussed on the services that are supposed to be rendered by the Kwekwe City Council. I'm Perseverance Jamangwe. Remember, the COVID-19 is still with us. Let's always be vigilant and let's always observe all the World Health Organization guidelines and stay safe. It's a bye for now.